Hello everybody, in this lesson I will discuss what a geometric sequence is, how to get to the next term, and how to describe the sequence in your own words. Geometric sequence. When the same number is multiplied or divided to get to the next term, it is called a geometric sequence or a pattern. I just want to show you there in the green cloud, another name for a sequence is a pattern. Let's see how the following sequences are formed. When I give you 1, 10, 100, 1,000, do you agree? We multiplied by 10 to get to the next term. Have a look. 1 to 10, we multiplied by 10. 10 to 100, we multiplied by 10. When I give you the sequence 16, 8, 4, 2, we divide it by 2 to get to the next term. So to get from 16 to 8, we divide it by 2. 3, 12, 48. We multiplied by 4 to get to the next term. From 3 to 12, multiply by 4. From 12 to 48, multiply by 4. And when I give you 7, negative 21, 63, negative 189, we multiplied by negative 3 to get to the next term. So from 7 to minus 21, we multiplied by negative 3. The number we either multiply or divide has a specific name, and we call it the common ratio or the constant ratio. Here in grade 8, we will rather refer to it as the constant ratio, but later in grade 12, they call it the common ratio, but it's the same thing. Let's do some examples. Determine the common ratio in each geometric sequence or pattern. Now that implies we are looking for a number that we can multiply or divide with to get to the next term. So if you look at my sequence, to get from 1 to 2, we multiply by 2. To get from 2 to 4, we multiply by 2. So therefore, our common ratio in this one is 2. In this example, to go from 5 to 15, we multiplied by 3. To get from 15 to 45, we multiply by 3. Therefore, our common ratio is 3 because we multiplied by 3. In the next example, to get from 100 to 50, we divide by 2. But just keep in mind, divide by 2 is exactly the same as multiply by a half. Then, to get from 50 to 25, we divide by 2, or the same is we multiply by a half. Therefore, our constant, I beg your pardon, our common ratio is a half. This example, to get from 3 to 1, we divide by 3, or exactly the same is multiply by a third. To get from 1 to a third, again we divide by 3, but it's exactly the same as multiply by a third. Therefore, our common ratio is a third. And then this last example, have a look at this. Here the sequence is 5, negative 5, 5, negative 5. So what happened here was to get from 5 to negative 5, we multiply by negative 1. To get from negative 5 to 5, again we multiply by negative 1. Since a minus times a minus is a plus. Therefore, our common ratio is -1. You must be able to describe a geometric sequence in your own words. Use the words, a geometric sequence with a common ratio of, and then you give me the number, starting with, and you give me the number. So if I give you the sequence 1, 5, 25, 125, do you agree you multiplied by 5 to get to the next term? From 5 to 25, you multiplied by 5. So in your own words, it will be, it is a geometric sequence with a common ratio of 5, starting with the number 1, the first term. In the sequence 6, -12, 24, to get from 6 to -12, we multiplied by 2, -2. To get from -12 to plus 24, we multiplied by -2. Therefore, it's a geometric sequence with a common ratio of -2, starting with the number 6, the first term. When I give you the sequence 18, 6, 2, 2 over 3, 2 over 9, then to get from 18 to 6, we divided by 3, and division by 3 is exactly the same as times by a third. So to get from 6 to 2, we times by a third. Therefore, we say it's a geometric sequence with a common ratio of a third, starting with 18 as the first term. When I give you the sequence 1, 3, 9, 27, then to get from 1 to 3, we multiply by 3. To get from 3 to 9, we multiply by 3. Therefore, it's a geometric sequence with a common ratio of 3, starting with the number 1, the first term. And the sequence -3, 6, -12. So what we do here is, again, to get from -3 to 6, we multiply by -2. To get from 6 to -12, we multiply by -2. Therefore, this is a geometric sequence with a common ratio of -2, starting with -3 as the first term. Use the information to extend your own geometric pattern. Each pattern must contain 5 terms. You have to start with 2 and multiply by 3. Therefore, your sequence will be 2, and then when you multiply by 3, it will be 6. When you multiply by 3, 18, 54, 162. Make a pattern with first term 3 and constant ratio of 1. Again, what does constant ratio mean? That is the number that you're going to multiply with. So first of all, we start with 3, and then a constant ratio of 1 means multiply by 1. So therefore 3 times 1 is 3. Then multiply by 1 is 3. So our sequence is just 3, 3, 3, 3. First term 24 and common ratio a half. So we start with 24, and common ratio a half means we multiply by a half. So 24 times a half is 12. Remember, times a half is the same as divide by 2. Then to get to the next term, 12 times a half is 6, times a half is 3, times a half 3 over 2. First term 1 and constant ratio -5. Then there's your 1. Constant ratio -5 means times by -5. So it's -5. -5 times by -5 is positive 25. Positive 25 times -5 is negative 125 times -5 is 625. In the next lesson, I will discuss all types of different sequences. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next video.